guys, how y'all doing? Welcome to Scott Canada Horsemanship. So today we're going to start a series of videos. It's going to be with this little horse, Sonny. Sonny is a 11, I believe, year old Arab endurance horse, and he just has a lot of anxiety, a lot of nervousness, and we're going to see if we can't get through some of that, build his confidence a little bit, make him, quite a bit safer for his rider. So you can kind of see that Sonny is pretty interested in the other. There's some other horses over here, some horses back this way, and he feels like that's where he has to be. So Sonny's mind is over there with those other horses. It's not necessarily in here with himself. He came up here. This is a really nice sign, and I'll just kind of give him a little greet back and tell him that I'm glad that he came over here. I want him to start to search me up as a place of safety, a place of comfort where he can come and know that he can stay here in the moment and be safe here. Let some of those worries go that he's carrying around with him. Nice little lick and chew right there. Nice sigh. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to kind of start by just walking around and see what he does here. Is he going to hang with me, or is he going to want to go off and be by those other horses? I was kind of hoping he'd go off and try to be by the other horses because it'd make the video a little bit better, but I like that he's doing this. This is really good. I have worked with him a couple of times at different locations in the past, but it's been several months, and this is kind of the first time that he's started out staying with me right away. So this is great. He just got here yesterday and kind of had a little anxious night, a lot of pacing last night, getting used to the new place. So I'm very happy with his connection that we've got right now. This is a lot better. We got a little bit of this towards the end of our sessions the first couple times I worked with him. So when I walk off, I'm not going to ask him to come with me. I just want to go ahead and walk off and do my business in here. Look around, make sure I don't got any screws or glass or anything that could hurt my horse in the round pen here. Kind of go about my business, but at the same time, I want to be aware of him. I'm constantly going to use my peripheral. I'm going to use my ears. I'm going to listen to him and know where he is. Very nice. I really like this. He's engaging a lot. He's sticking here. Now, granted, this doesn't necessarily mean that this horse is all fixed and he's calming down, but a lot of times they kind of want to be here because, how do I want to put this? I'll use a teddy bear analogy. If you have, let's say there's a little kid, maybe he's home, his parents are out, and he's got a babysitter, and there's a lightning storm, and he gets scared. He's going to have, let's say he has a teddy bear, and he grabs that teddy bear, and he holds onto that teddy bear. He's kind of holding onto that teddy bear for comfort. But what the actuality is, what he really wants, is he wants for his mom and dad to hold him. And we have to be able to discern which is different. Which is the horse trying to do? Is the horse trying to stay here because it wants me to hold him? Or does he look at me like the teddy bear and he's trying to hold me for the comfort? If he's looking at me that way, then obviously he feels like he's the leader. If he thinks I'm the leader, then he's looking at me to hold him. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm really pleased with this. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this connection, you know, a little bit of this follow up. And we had, like I said, it's been months since I've did anything with this horse, and that was just an hour. And he was pretty distracted by other horses that were around riding in a big arena, but he's stuck really nice with me here right now. So our next step then is going to be to start to build his confidence by sending him out. I want him to be able to have the same connection when he's out going around the round pen. I don't want him to disconnect from me when I ask him to go around. So if I send him out and he immediately puts his head over the rail and starts looking at these other horses, then that tells me he's disconnected from me. Okay, so and if that should happen, all I'm going to try to do is get his attention back to me. I don't want to just keep driving him out there. I don't want to drive him away from me and making him think that I'm driving him away. When I'm pushing on him and putting pressure on him, the idea is that I want him to get his mind back connected to me. Because when we're out riding, the last thing we want is for his mind to be out in front, maybe with some other horses, or his mind needs to stay right there with the rider. So when we ask, you know, we have to put a little pressure on to ask him to go away, and we see how does he perceive that. Does he perceive that pressure as, you know, push me away and run because I'm a threat, or is he going to understand that it's just a cue to move forward, to go out and move forward? I need to have all this stuff right before I get on him and ride him, so he understands what going forward means. It means if I'm going to use my legs and want to just step forward, I don't want him to squirt out and take off thinking I'm asking him to leave me. I'm just saying move forward. So I think we'll just grab a lunge whip here, and I don't know if he's ever had anybody use a lunge whip with him, and I'm not going to, you know, do anything bad with it. But sometimes you get in here and these horses have had bad experiences with lunge whips, and as soon as you bring that out, man, they take off and they think it's a big deal, it's a problem, you know. And a lot of times that's because of the way they were trained in the round pen before. People, if you just go out there and you just push them around, that's what they think they have to do, is just boom, go around the round pen, and you know, usually they'll disconnect from that, but they're just kind of getting away from the pressure that's in the middle, as opposed to listening to what that actually means. So I'm going to give him a clear cue and clear signals on what I want him to do. And I'm just going to go ahead and set my point up here, and I might start with just getting him to tip his head to his right, because that's what I want him to do. When I set my point up and I set my cue up, that's what I'm asking him to do. Just kind of put your attention over that way. Same thing riding. If we're riding, I'm going to pick a rein up and do exactly the same thing. I'm going to expect exactly the same thing. I don't want his mind to be back over here where he's looking. I want it to be where I think where we're going to be going. So my mind is always focused on where I want him to go, just like it would be riding. And that's my job as a rider. So I'm just using the whip as a little bit of energy to get him to understand that. If I do too much, he'll take off. And that's okay. If he does, we'll just get him back. But I want him to understand when I point, it means look that way. And they generally try to kind of go into this because they're kind of go into the pressure on the whip side because they perceive it as pressure. They perceive it as a problem. And I want him to understand that he needs to just go away from that pressure and everything will be fine. So he kind of went the wrong way there. I'm going to just get him back here for a second. And I'm going to ask him, let's do that again. Because I don't want him to just go away and turn his butt to me. Back in the past, I probably would have gotten more, put more pressure. There we go. I would have probably put more pressure on him when they show the hindquarters to me. If he's a real aggressive horse, then I probably would. But he's not an aggressive horse. He just has not yet learned to go away from the pressure. There we go. And that's all I want him to do. So I'll just come back here to the middle. He disconnected just a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to get one step at a time here. I want him to come back to me. Anytime he looks away, I'm going to ask him just a real slight energy to ask him to look back this way, to get his attention back over here. See, he's kind of going off here to his left. I'm going to kind of move towards his right. And I'm going to see if I can get him to bring his head back over here and get his attention back. Because, see, right now he disconnected. There we go. His mind from his body. When he looks out, he hears some voices over there. He disconnected his mind from his body. And when they do that, they'll tend to get nervous and anxious. When he comes back here, you saw that he licked and chewed. He put his head down. He came back, kind of came back into reality, came back into his body. I'm going to ask the same thing here. Just see if I can get him to pay some attention back over here. You see, I'm not pushing him. I'm not going to, here we go, demand that he does that. I'm just putting a little pressure and creating it a place where when he comes back off of it and he comes back towards me, the pressure goes away. I'm kind of that spot where there's no pressure, so this is where he wants to eventually be. But he has to figure that out, and that takes time. See, I could probably walk off and have him follow again, and he would do that, and that's okay. But I need to be able to move him and have him stick with me. So I'm just going to gently ask him again to go this way. Kind of use my body language to set that up. I'm opening that door. He's going into a closed door. You see that? The door here where the whip is, that's closed. And he's trying to go into that. So I'm just going to stay with him and say, you know what, I appreciate you looking for the answer. He's telling me he's doing that because he's backing up. He's looking for the solution. But the solution is never to go into that pressure. The solution's always to walk out of that pressure calmly. And I want him to understand there's always an answer for him. So I'm not going to get after him here and make him come back around. I just want him to start figuring out there. And anytime he does that, he can just drop. I'll just drop all the pressure and see what he does then. See, he pretty quick came back in. I like that. And this is how we're going to teach him how to start looking for cues, that when we give a cue that there's always going to be an answer, and we're going to help him through that. to take away some of that anxiety, build up his confidence so he starts to understand what it is that we want. Last thing I want him to be is scared in here. I want these lessons to be a place that he leaves here feeling better. Now I'm just going to kind of follow in behind him here and just keep a little forward movement. Ask him to go forward. I'm trying to keep this energy below, you know, where his threshold of panicking and thinking that he's got to run off and have a problem. I don't mind in the beginning that he turns in a little. I'm going to start to teach him how to go out from me, how to actually move his body away from me without feeling that he's got to go faster. You know, a lot of times we push. There we go. I'm just going to lift this up and create a wall here until his body kind of goes away from me a little bit. And I'll test him by stepping back real quick and seeing if he still has his connection on me. It's there, but not great. He responded quickly, but what he didn't do was square up, and that's okay. At this point, I'm not going to be critical about that. He's looking at me, so that's the big thing. So he's processing. I don't know if you guys can see, but his mind is processing everything that's going on. He's a little distracted by that, but see how quick he starts to come back into his own body. Starts to come back into the moment right now. I like that. So I'm going to ask him to change directions here, and he's not going to be real sure what to do, so I'm just going to pick this point hand up and just ask him to walk. There we go. I'm going to work my way to the middle, and then we'll try to teach him how to stay out there. He wants to stay by this rail because this is the rail that's closest to these other horses. So he'll cut this corner just a little bit. I don't care about that. I want his confidence to get built. I'm not going to demand these things out of him right away. And then I'm going to back up here. See if he can get back to me. And what I'm going to do is just move. There we go. Anytime he moves one direction, his focus comes off, say, to his left side. I'm going to kind of bring it back more this way if I can. See, he kind of disconnects a little bit when we ask him to. There's a nice sigh, but there we go. He disconnects a little bit when we ask him to leave. Let's see what he does here. I'm going to change his direction here. So he did that one really well. And now what I'm going to do is get him to start to want to come in a little bit. I'm not going to push him hard. See, he's just walking. And that's all I need to do. I'm moving him. I'm creating this energy for him to move forward. He kind of wants to come in. He wants to change sides, so I'm just going to step back and say no. I'm not going to reprimand him for making a mistake or trying to do something that I don't want yet. That's just what he felt like he needed to do. I don't need to come in here and chase this horse around to be the leader. I just need to be able to move him wherever I want to move him, and then show him that I'm completely aware of what he's thinking, what he's feeling, because I'm constantly going to be listening to him, listening to what he's telling me. He likes to look out on that side over at those other horses, but he's got his ear turned in on me the whole time. We'll change his direction here. So as that head turned that way a little bit, what I'll do here is see what he does when I step back. Not getting a great connection while he's moving. That's okay. I could do this a couple of ways. I'm going to show him again first what I want. Again, at this point, I'm not going to demand that he gives me his attention. I'm just going to set it up and make the attention something good for him to do. There we go. That was a nice turn in there. That's what I want him to do. I got to be able to show him what I want. If I'm not clear on what I want, and if he's doing the right thing, he's not going to get it. If he feels like he did something and he can't find the answer, and maybe if he feels like there is no answer, then we run into problems. So he's got a nice yawn going on right now. I like that. He's very relaxed right now. I love that his head is down. Got some flies bugging him, but other than that, he's feeling pretty good. So I might just kind of walk off here and see, do I have his attention? I like that he turned towards me, so I'll walk away. Let him know I'm not here to pester him. I'm here to be somebody that he can trust for his safety. Walk off again. The time I walk off, these are tests. They're tests to see how strong our connection is. Because ultimately, when I'm on his back and he gets distracted by something else, I want to see how easy can I get his mind back to me. When you don't have that, and you have horses that are disconnected and they're super worried about other things that are going on out in the environment that we don't really have control of, and they're more fixated and focused on those things, boy, you can get into a problem really fast if you can't get their mind back to you. Sometimes they just flat forget you're up there, and then they may have some instinct to take off and try to find a safe place, and we wind up holding them back, which creates more anxiety, and then we become the problem, and then they want to get us off of their back. So I think that's a pretty good first day with him. Well, I might do just a little bit of desensitizing with him. I don't have to do a whole lot. He's pretty calm. Let's see what he does with this here. He felt like that was kind of quick. So I just want him to let him know that he's okay. He doesn't need to worry about anything touching him. So this tells me a lot right here. If he's a little bothered about being touched by this, then that's something that can come out and bite us in the butt at some point if we don't let him feel comfortable with that. Now, when I first come up here, I'm going to kind of come up here slow. He gets a little nervous. He says, I'm not sure what you're doing and if I'm supposed to like that or not. So these little things are huge signs. They're huge telltale signs of what's going on inside him. You know, this horse has been ridden. He's done all this stuff. He has had some issues where he's gotten pretty nervous and you know, kind of jumped and did some things, and the rider came off. So if I can see why, you know, if I just go up with that and that little bit had him nervous enough to feel like he had to back his feet up and be concerned about it by lifting his head way up, those are huge signs. I mean, yeah, those are huge signs as to why he did what he did when he got scared before. So there's always more we can do with our horses to get them better. You know, yeah, we might be able to go out and ride, and we might go out and ride 1,000 times and not have a problem. But if we've got holes, if we've got some things that our horse maybe isn't quite used to, we might step in that hole on the 1,001 the 1,001 ride. We might have an issue with. So see, just the fact that he is just a little concerned about being rubbed with this says a lot. But we're going to help him to get through all this. So it's just one less thing that he's got to worry about. And it's not so much about just getting used to the whip. It's about getting used to or knowing what to do when something feels uncomfortable. And what I'm looking for him to do is to start relaxing as I do this. We're going to desensitize by relaxing him. So this side over here is a little bit worse. So let's go back here and see if we can get him to do something different here. He's already better. I would like to see his head drop. He's not really blinking. There's a blink. Good. He's looked away, which meant that something over there got his attention, was more something that he felt was more a need to look over there than to worry about this. So that's a sign, that a time that we can stop and say, that's all you got to do. Not worry about this. That's the whole idea. He's looking at something else over there. I'm rubbing on his forehead, so I'm just going to wait till he kind of comes back into reality here. There he goes. There, his head came down just a little bit. Eyes softened up. See, it's more so that they get nervous about what they think might happen. So it's not necessarily that he's nervous about the whip. He's just nervous about what is going to happen to me when I come up here with the whip. So I just want him to figure out that that approach, that time that we start approaching with it, is where he starts to get nervous. That's what we want to get rid of. We want him to start to feel comfortable about the approach, and he realizes and he trusts that there's nothing going to happen to him. There's a change. So those little things, it's not all that bad. It doesn't look like it's like, oh, he's just terrified of the whip. But those little things are enough to add up that if you start putting those with other issues, that's when you can start to kind of get above your anxiety threshold, where he'll then, have a problem, where things will kind of come apart and he'll check out and think he's got to do something else. So I'm just going to gently stay with him here. I'm not doing anything that hurts him. I just want him to get figured out that I'm going to stick with you. You just have to kind of work through this. Nothing, absolutely nothing more. He's not going through anything that he can't handle. There's a change. Nice big sigh. I like that. I'm just going to set this down here on the ground, and we'll take a little walk and see what he does. I think that's a pretty good first day with him, just getting him acclimated to being here and getting him relaxed. And we will work with him here in a couple of days and find a saddle that's going to fit him, and start to work him under saddle. But we're going to take our time and try to get through some of these issues that he's got, so we can build his confidence quite a bit more and get him pretty safe for his mom. So. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Um, Please, if you liked it, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and keep following this because we're going to try to get this on. Oh, I hope at least a couple times a week, and follow Sonny's progress, and we'll see where we get to. Anyway, thanks again. Hope you all have a great day. Talk to you later.